Thank you very much. I focus on this first bill before us that is extending unemployment assistance, to which Republicans are unfortunately again saying no. The most recent employment numbers that we have from last month show that our economic recovery has stalled. As one commentator recently noted, 9.1 million fewer jobs than a year earlier is consistent with a severe recession. Established in the time of another crisis, the Great Depression, unemployment insurance assists workers who lose their jobs and contribute to the local economy in the process and help those workers secure productive new jobs. Like so many issues that have been hiding in plain sight and now exposed by the pandemic, this patchwork employment system left up to the states to mismanage and underfund has failed to provide prompt assistance. I've heard firsthand from one person after another, literally hundreds of people that have contacted us in recent months about their inability to connect with the Texas Workforce Commission in order to resolve issues of obstructed benefits. One Austin musician, Lauren Gould, last week reached out to my office for assistance after waiting on hold with the Texas Workforce Commission for 6 hours, only to have her call dropped and never reached again. After overcoming Senate Republicans who said no to pandemic unemployment assistance last spring for both types of workers under the CARES Act, House Democrats passed an extension on May 15th to ensure that this $600 weekly lifeline would not expire in late July. House Republicans said no like today to this lifeline. They continued to say no, while Senate Republicans wouldn't say anything. They simply refused to discuss the matter until after the Texas Workforce Commission had sent out its last supplemental benefit check. Finally, in typical Trump fashion, he announced he'd dictate everything by himself. He engaged in a stunt in which he announced the checks would soon be in the mail. At the same time, he cut weekly assistance in half and excluded nearly 350,000 of the most needy low-income Texans, as well as those whose original application didn't specifically say their loss was from the pandemic. Then 6 weeks later, Trump abruptly stopped these payments, which had used money to pay for them, taken away from the FEMA disaster fund at the height of the wildfire season in the West and the hurricane season in the East. Again in October, House Democrats approved unemployment assistance. Republicans said no, and we had to wait until Christmas before they finally yielded. For gig workers in Texas and elsewhere, it wasn't a white Christmas, it was a dry one, as benefits expired on the day after Christmas. Thankfully, President Joe Biden understands the struggle that so many of these families have endured, and he's insisted upon this prompt action with a true American Rescue Plan. Today's legislation answers that call to give, as President Biden requested, workers the assurance that they'll have support right on into up to September, though I am a little disappointed that it omits a month of additional assistance that President Biden requested and which Senator Wyden has fortunately committed to restore in the Senate. This assistance is particularly important for gig workers, over 350,000 of them in my state who are receiving pandemic unemployment assistance, including many of our musicians and other contractors who previously would not have been able to receive a dime of support. In addition to this changing nature of our economy, over 40% of the U.S. workforce are now estimated to be gig workers. Since losing employment has left many without health coverage, we have also included in companion legislation to be heard later this week a critical provision for access of the unemployed to zero premium health insurance under the Affordable Care Marketplace. This is a modest step facing some serious implementation obstacles to reach a few of the more than 30 million Americans who remain uninsured. Blocked from Medicaid expansion by obstructionist state leaders, my home state of Texas bears the disgrace of having more uninsured citizens than any other state. An estimated 800,000 Texans could be eligible for coverage under the bills that we will approve this week. For the first time, some Texans previously too poor to receive federal tax credits have the possibility of securing and accessing health insurance. If ever meaningfully implemented, this provision could help us tackle disparities. Mr. Chairman, I support this legislation. I believe it protects the economic security of Americans and also offers some protection for health security. Hopefully, we can achieve both.